Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Tricia Cease. I'm the president of the Virtual Foundry. Welcome to our podcast. The date is Friday, April 2nd, 2021. The time is 10:08 here Central Time in Southern Wisconsin, and the temperature is a cool 38 degrees Fahrenheit. That is just 3 degrees for you using Celsius. We are anxiously waiting for spring to arrive. We get little tidbits of it. It keeps flirting with us, but it hasn't made its full arrival yet. Soon, we hope. So with me, as always, is Brad Woods, the CEO and our inventor here at the Virtual Foundry. Brad, say hello.
Hi, Tricia.
And we're very pleased to have some special guests with us today. We have Michelle Leon and Andreas Leon from Levil Technologies. They're located in Oviedo, Florida.
Hello.
And our sintering partner, David Lawson from Sapphire3D in the Chicago, Illinois area.
Hello, everyone.
So today we're talking about a brand new metal 3D printing lab bundle that Levil Technologies has created that provides everything that you need to 3D print metal parts plus. So Michelle, I'm going to hand it to you and ask you to tell us all about this bundle that you've created.
Thanks, Tricia. We're super excited here at Levil. First of all, thank you for having us. This is an amazing opportunity to get the word out there to your fan base and hopefully across the world. So to tell you a little bit, the machine that I have behind me is our Levil EDU mill, which is a CNC machine and 3D printer combo. Why this is so exciting is because it can really bring additive and subtractive manufacturing to virtually any space. And that's very exciting to us. And not only can it go in any space, but it's at an affordable price point to other options that we found in the market. Partnering with Sapphire3D's kilns, and of course the Virtual Foundry's amazing materials, we can bring a full metal 3D printing lab to virtually anywhere. And when I mean virtually anywhere, we mean spaces that are limited, places that don't have maybe industrial power requirements, places that are maybe not your typical manufacturing settings. This is the perfect first solution for all of those venues. And not only is it easy to move around, but it's also easy to use. You guys have made your materials super easy to print with, very straightforward. Dave's kiln, I mean, is a piece of cake the way he has put it all together. And then we hope we've made our machine very user-friendly so that anybody can really get their hands in there and start creating.
Now you've created this complete metal 3D printing lab. And when we talk about this lab, that includes all the hardware you need, which is Levil's EduMill CNC machine 3D printer combo, Sapphire3D's kiln, the Virtual Foundry's metal 3D printing filaments, and all the other supplies and equipment that you'll need to print, machine, debind, sinter, and polish full metal parts. Michelle, tell us why you decided to add a 3D printing element to your CNC machine.
Well, one of our biggest customers is the education market. And as I'm sure we can all attest to, the future is really going into 3D printing. It's where a lot of research and development is going, prototyping. And so we wanted to be able to help students grasp that part of the industry and where research is going. But we don't want them to forget about machining either, because that is a big part of production as well. So we wanted to give them a solution that they'll be able to use in the workforce, something that they'll be able to really gain some great skills in, and that hopefully will have people creating, I don't know, the next big thing on these machines, and they'll have our package to thank for it.
That's great. Yes, we do love how accessible metal 3D printing has become. The Virtual Foundry really prides itself on that democratization effort and bringing 3D printing out, or metal 3D printing and metal part fabrication to more and more people all the time. So tell us why when you started to create your 3D printer, why you chose to go the metal route instead of starting with plastics.
That's a great question. I'm actually going to turn that over to Andres. He does all of our research and development, and he is the brains behind this machine and was the one that thought to go that route. So,
well, we're a CNC machine manufacturer. We mainly deal with metals all the time when we're cutting, when we're making the machine itself, it's all metal. So when we looked at 3D printing as a whole, we wanted to cover the advanced aspects of 3D printing. And not to say that plastics are easy to print with, but they are useful up to a point. There's a point where if you want to do anything in industry, you need to make parts that are going to resist stresses, the parts that are going to hold up over time. And plastics, you just don't cut it in certain areas. And so we really wanted to go the metal route for that reason. We want to be able to reach, stay at the top of the line with the technology for 3D printing. So that's one of the main reasons why we said if we're going to do 3D printing, yes, we need to do plastic, but we also need to figure out a way to do metal 3D printing.
That's great. So a really good point to emphasize here is that your machine can certainly print plastics. It's an FFF style or FDM FFF style 3D printer that can print plastics or any host of materials that come in standard filament size, including the Virtual Foundry's 3D printing metal filaments. Now in this bundle, as I mentioned earlier, is all the hardware that you need, including Sapphire3D's sintering kilns. So David, tell us a little bit about the kiln and its addition into this bundle.
Sure. I've got the starter kiln here behind me. There's two types of kilns that are part of the bundle package, which is the starter and then the pro, which is going to have a larger chamber size. These kilns were used in the development of the processes that were going to be part of the curriculum for this market in terms of being able to sinter the Virtual Foundry metals. And so a lot of the development work that I had done, at least with the metals, has been on these particular platforms. And what's different about these versus kilns, other kilns that are out there, is I worked with a specific manufacturer, US manufacturer, to develop these kilns for 3D printing of metals or sintering of metal 3D printed parts. And what's different is some of the things, the features, the kilns can go to a much higher temperature, so they have a special fire brick that can handle getting up to 2500 F, as well as the heat elements and the thermocouples that are used. And it's really something that is going to be very similar to what many users in the education market may have experienced with ceramics or glass. So they're used to operating these kilns in some of those universities and in their classes and things like that. But this will allow them to do the 3D printed metals with these types of kilns.
Great, thank you, David. And not only are these kilns going to sinter the materials that come in the Complete Metal 3D printing lab, but they're also going to do that debind function. So our filaments are metal powder encased in a plastic binder. In order to get a full metal part, you need to remove that binder somehow. The Virtual Foundry's process accomplishes that with simple heat. So that's going to happen in that same kiln hardware on the front end of the heat cycle at lower temperatures before the kiln moves up to the sintering temperature. So debind and sinter happening in one sinter cycle in that same piece of equipment. So no extra debinding equipment required. So a really wonderful solution, soup to nuts, as we say, for getting full metal parts. Brad, tell us a little bit about the materials that are included in the package.
Right. So we work out of the box. You'll be able to print with bronze or copper alloys, bronze, and I think we have some stainless steel in there also. So a variety of different metals. And partly what's interesting about this for the Virtual Foundry is it's a way to put our materials out to more and more people. As time passes, we're seeing this become a bit of a movement where more and more people are participating in using our materials and how to improve them and how to put them into different applications. And in many applications, the final product isn't complete right off the 3D printer or after sintering. There's post-processing in the form of CNC machining. So this really kind of closes the loop on the process.
Great, thank you, Brad. And this is the workforce of the future will be changing as additive manufacturing continues to grow and further integrate itself into manufacturing processes. So it's important that our students and our younger people are learning about these processes so that they have these skills when they get into work of the future and work today. 3D printing is certainly present in many industries and in many organizations throughout the world. Michelle, tell us how people can learn more about this bundle.
Yeah, absolutely. Really easy. They can go to our website, which is www.leviltechnology.com. They can reach out to us directly by phone or by email at info@level.com. And we'd be happy to help answer any questions. As you can see, we literally just rolled this machine into our office. We're also happy to do virtual meetings with anybody that wants to talk about it, or if anybody wants to stop by the shop, they're welcome to as well.
Great. So the information that you just gave, I will include in the comments. So that will be there as well. Michelle, I do have one more important question for you before we wrap up today. Have you heard about the restaurant on the moon?
Have I heard of the restaurant on the moon? No, I can't say I have.
Well, it has great food, but really no atmosphere.
That's a good one.
So that's it for today. Thank you very much for joining us in the Virtual Foundries podcast. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.